Here's some things that the top 10 things that businesses are solving with AI. Coding, like writing code for um, for a website or for an application. You think about the amount of code that um, this AI, the amount of data, we talked about it, the amount of data that's out there that it has access to. And then you think about the speed at which it can do it because of these really fast processors compared to a human being. You kind of know what you know, right? Where this thing knows a lot more about you. I'll go ahead and make this disclaimer here, and I'll probably make it again. A concern with AI and say writing code is that it's pulling from information that is in the data repository, and it weighs the amount of information and all those kind of things, and it generates a result. Very, very efficient and effective at doing that. The problem it doesn't have is the ability to determine faults. Something like if there was a ton of bad code that was injected into the data pool and you turned an AI agent on it, it's going to give you a ton of bad code. So AI can absolutely 100% be wrong. So you can't just believe that whatever it says is right, because it's very effective at putting information down from its data pool. And if it has a bad data pool, then it's going to give you bad results. And there is a lot of bad data that is out there that it is exposed to. It's kind of like, it's, if you think about how Google search engine works, right? It's using a machine learning type environment where it's using an algorithm to pull up the results. Well, it has been taught or trained or programmed, would be the better word, to weigh things like, well, if you search for an IT company, it's going to say, well, let me look at all the reviews that it's had. Its purest of goals would be that it would be trying to, of course, render the best result based off of the keywords that you use. So we'll go with the purest sense of things. We won't get into any kind of conspiracy theories here. Well, it's going to look at some things. It's going to look at the quality of the content of your website. It's going to look at the number of reviews that you had and how many 5 stars, yada, 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 on down the list, the history that your website's been up, your backlinks, your authority, all these things. Well, AI is really not that sophisticated, I don't believe, yet, because it's kind of pure, if you will. It's just going to give you the answer that comes out based off the data that it has, where Google has got some parameters programmed in as to filter that data. So all that to say, a little insight maybe on how it works, but don't believe everything AI says is the takeaway, especially if you're in like HR or marketing or accounting. You can't believe whatever it tells you just because. But these are some things. Cybersecurity is another great area that it can help, because again, it can gather tons of information rapidly and put it together for the ability to look at things that are happening in near real time. Now, Chat GTP, OpenAI, it has a filter where it can't gather data from 2 years or younger. It's looking at data that's 2 years or older for some reasons, so that you can't use that type of technology in order to game the system or whatever. If you had some really, I mean, if you had an AI agent looking at the financials and they were pulling just all this real-time data, I would think at some point there might be some competitive advantages that could be delivered. And those are things that are going to affect us in the future. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Also, customer service, being able to answer the phone and put you to the right person in a much more effective manner than making you list the 9 options that you have. Thank you for calling. For this, press this. For that, press this. It would say, hey, this is Philip with Business Information Solutions. How may I help you? And based off the words that you say, I can route you straight to a person. And think about that from a standpoint of economic savings and just some of the trouble of maybe having a receptionist at your front desk that is sick, or their kids are sick, or they don't come in, or all those things. And that's what's driving the whole bus. Healthcare, another thing, they're doing a lot in cancer research, being able to, do the compares on cells that are humans aren't able to do it at those levels. They can make some great decision. Fraud detection, being able to look over Barracuda email. Just I had a meeting with them yesterday, and they have an AI bot that's turned on spam, and they're looking at your Microsoft 365 tenancy, and they're looking at all of the events that have happened in the mail that's there. So when you get a new mail, it's comparing it to the things that you've responded to and things like this, so that it can detect fraud. Uh, like predictive maintenance, knowing when things are going to wear out, because you can just dump that data into it and it's going to analyze it and spit out an answer to you. And then some overall operations and things in order to find bottlenecks and to streamline systems and processes. It's going to be very good. It is very good at those type things because, again, fast processors, tons of data, more data than you have been exposed to. It can give you answers that are definitely worth looking at. Again, saying that it's going to give you a fast answer on based on the quality of data. I'll never forget, I had a math teacher one time, and really a great guy, and he was telling me that the computer was the fastest thinking idiot, and a human was the slowest thinking genius. Now, again, he's now we're kind of in the world now, just really not that many years later, or some years later, I guess, but uh, where that's almost not true, or there's a blend of those two statements, where at that time it was very, a computer couldn't do anything without you, and now they're actually doing a lot without us.